Evening, everyone. This is Nithin Ramachandra from the NR Hour Sports Show. This is episode 704. I'm joined by Chaunitel Smith-Jones. She's a WNBA and Fiba sports agent from from the Capture Sports Agency. So, first of all, I just want to say thank you for joining me. This is truly an honor. Obviously, I've seen your work. You do a lot of things, and I saw your interview with my friend Courtney on his show, and that was awesome. And first of all, thanks for joining this show. How are you and your family doing during this new year? And hopefully, some positive things comes through to us.
First and foremost, thank you for having me. Truly an honor, and I appreciate it. And pretty much for 2021, everything is good. Family is healthy. They're safe. Not too many COVID cases going on right now. We did have some earlier, but we are doing a lot better. But other than that, our 2021 is pretty good for the most part.
So, where are you guys located right now?
Here in Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Okay. So, for you, obviously, we're gonna get to women in sports later on. But for you, when you were growing up, when did you start realizing that you wanted to be in the sports industry? Not only as agent, but just alone in the sports industry. When did you start realizing you want to be in that field?
Pretty much when I was in high school. So when I was playing basketball, I thought that I was going to go to the WNBA, and that obviously didn't happen. So I had to learn early, like, if I'm not going to the league, what's another way that I can continue to be in the sports industry, and continue to make a difference, and be a voice. So right after I realized that I wasn't going to the WNBA is when I realized I wanted to be in the industry.
Hmm. So, explain to me, when did you start playing basketball, and what was you, what were you like as a player, and what did you bring to the game?
So for the most part, so I started playing basketball at the age of 3. Played anywhere where there was a hoop at, in the middle of the street, in the alleys, at the parks, anything for that matter. Even if it was like a trash can or a little carton little thing or something like that. Um, and then from there, I don't know. I think I brought some type of a voice to the team, some type of leadership, and just a vibe, of just being that energetic person who always, kept the team up for the most part.
So, when you were playing basketball, did you play multiple positions? Not like point guard, shooting guard. Were you like versatile? What did they make you do when you were playing?
Oh man, I wish I played multiple positions. I'm not that tall.
Yeah.
Um, so I pretty much just play point majority of the time, just because of my size and my quickness for the most part.
Hmm. So, when did you play basketball when you were in college also?
No, I actually ran track. I did play basketball like intramurals, because I didn't want to get in trouble for playing basketball while I was still running track. So
So, all right. So, explain to me, what was the experience like doing track in college, and what did you learn from that?
I learned a lot from track. I know. So I went to an NAIA school, and for us that meant nothing, because for our track program we ran against, majority D1 athletes. We were at Myrtle Beach. We went to Penn Relays. We went to Drake Relays. We were running against some of the biggest talent in the track field. So um, that was huge for me. I learned a lot. I learned that that's what I learned. How to be a leader, more of a leader, how to have more of a voice, and then also it taught me how to understand that I'm not going to be the best at everything.
Right.
And once you realize that, and you know how to work around people who are either at the same level as you or better than you, and that's something that I learned for the most part.
So now, before we get to the thing you're doing right now, what did you learn though as a player, and what's it like just to share your experiences as a player to your current clients right now that you have? So what's it like just to share that to your clients?
It's pretty much just letting them know that things are going to happen, things are going to come up, but it's all about how you get back up. It's all about how you finish through, and me being able to do that, with running track, you're running against so many people. You have so many track meets where there's meets where you're not running your best. There's meets where you're having, you're running your to give back, or I'm able to give back, to my clients, and just let them know that, there's always something better or something bigger on the other side. So you just have to continue to have faith, and continue to know that, things are going to get better.
So how long? All right. So for now that you're an agent, so take me through the process, how to become an agent, and how long did it take you, and what was like the journey like for you before to get in this field?
Well, for me, I started when I was a junior at Indiana Tech, where I went to college at, for my undergrad. I started my internship my junior year at this small sports agency down in Dallas called Max Sports Group. And then from there, I was there for about a year and a half. And then I came back. I heard this voice in my head, God telling me to bring a sports agency back to my hometown, which is Fort Wayne, Indiana. And that's pretty much what I did. And from there, I've gained a lot of mentors, and just stayed educated in the industry, learning as much as I can, just to get to where I am today.
So what is the process you have to do to take to be an agent, and how long did it take for you to be an agent, and what was it like, the process like though?
So for me, for the most part, I had got my WNBA license first. I think I got that in 2016 of October. And for that part, you had to fill out an application, you had to pay some fees, and you had to take a test and stuff like that. And then I think in March of 2017 is when I got certified with Fiba. And from there, you had to pay a fee, but because I was certified with the WNBA, I was able to just pay the fee and get certified with Fiba. I think the WNBA probably took a couple of weeks to get back with results, and then Fiba took the same, about a couple of weeks to get back as well.
So take me back to the opportunity with Capture Sports Agency. When did that come about, and how grateful are you to have this company now in this time?
I'm more than grateful. I'm honored only because it has nothing to do with me at all. It's all about what God set forth and what God set me to do for the most part. But the reason why I got started, pretty much like I said before, was because God put it on my heart, and He told me to bring it back to my hometown. He said, I called you to do this, so you're more than qualified. And since He said that, I've been grinding ever since, trying to just fulfill His will and His purpose for my life. So when me and my mom was trying to come up with, the name for the company, Capture Sports Agency, that wasn't our first name. She wanted it to be, my initials, or have my name in it, and I didn't. I wanted no parts of, my name in the company at all, because it wasn't about me. So even still, we came up with Capture Sports Agency. My initials are still in there a little bit. But I think God reached out and gave us Capture Sports Agency because it helps us understand that we're trying to capture our athletes to be more than athletes, to be role models, educators, business owners, entrepreneurs, everything in and between, anything that's going to help them in their on and off the field, and with their legacy. So that's where Capture Sports started at. And it started somewhere around 2016, when I was, on my way out of undergrad.
So before the pandemic started, what was your work schedule like as an agent, and were you on your phone 24/7 and trying to recruit people for your agency, or what were you doing before the pandemic hit?
Honestly, the same thing I'm doing now. So for the most part, nothing really slowed down for us, for the most part. So we're still recruiting, we're still talking to athletes, we're still working, we're trying to be proactive. We don't want to be reactive where everything is going declining in a sense. So we wanted to use this time during the pandemic to continue to grow the company, continue to grow as agents, or even as interns, continuously learning and trying to figure out what's the next best step for us to do. So we're still going full throttle, even before and after the pandemic.
So obviously, what have you learned from the past year? Obviously, last year we went through a struggle, and with the pandemic, and we're still doing that too. But for you, what have you learned as an agent, working with your clients, and especially tough for them, not with the uncertainty of sports coming back or not. But how what have you learned as an agent?
Pretty much not to force things. Don't force things, be authentic, and know that your time will come. You know, there's no point of trying to force things, because when you force things, that's when things go south. That's when bad things start to happen. So just know God has your best interests, and know that, you know, you want to do what's best for the client and not what's best for yourself. So put yourself and God before you know yourself, and you know things will definitely work out for the better good.
So when it comes to your clients, what did you do you guys do like weekly Zoom calls, and especially last year with no sports there shut down and all, do you guys do like weekly Zoom calls just to keep in touch and how the families are doing?
Yes, most definitely. So we do the Zoom calls, we call, we text, we do a little bit of everything, and then we also try to, you know, put in a little bit of some workshops or something for them, so they're still being educated during this time as well.
So now, fast forwarding to this year, are you guys currently like currently recruiting players to come to join your agency, or what are you guys doing now? Process like.
So yes, we are actually in the process of recruiting right now, our class for 2021 and 2022. So we are definitely working on that. You know, with not being able to attend games and stuff like that, it's a little bit harder. But we're continuously watching a lot of games on the TV.
Hmm. So obviously, women in sports is growing, and for you, what's it like to be a? We need more female agents in here. I mean, in the NFL, there's a couple of female agents that I had actually on the show from the NFL, but we need more female agents in basketball. But for you, what's it like to see yourself succeed in a high level as an agent? And obviously, you have Becky Hammond and trying to be the first female head coach in the NBA, and you have Sarah Fuller, first female kicker to kick a field goal in the Power Five conference. Camille Harris, first vice president female, and then female coaches everywhere and other businesses. So what's it like seeing this woman in sports grow?
It's empowering. It's definitely showing the younger generation of women that they too can do this. You know, it's not something that can't be done. It's not something that's unreachable. It's something that is in our reach, and we can continue to help those beneath us see that, and help continue to, you know, bring them along and give them a seat at the table, like we're doing for ourselves and you know our colleagues and stuff like that. So it's definitely amazing. It's definitely beautiful. I love every bit of it. Um, I love the W. Everything about our media team and everything. It's such a powerful feeling, knowing that all these women are being so powerful and empowering in their seats that they're in.
So obviously, you work with WNBA players and FIBA player and international players, I should say. So what's it like getting to work with diversity of players, and especially WNBA players and international players? So what do you get to learn from each personality when it comes to this?
A lot of things. Culture.
Yeah.
You know, culture is not the same. You get to you know learn about, you know, what they do, you know, in their country. You get to learn their language, and stuff like that. I'm always a learner. I'm a big learner. I like learning new things. So if I know someone who speaks a totally different language, I'm going to be like, so what what are you saying? Or teach me a word or something like that. And then I always joke with them and I say, you know, don't tell me too many words at one time because my mind ain't gonna process all that. So we go day by day, and you know they teach me, you know, a lot of, you know, their words or what they do with their customs and stuff like that.
So speaking of language barriers, how tough is it sometimes for you, especially when communicating with international players? And what's that like? And do you know any some of the language they speak or?
So I'm pretty fluent in Spanish for the most part. I think a lot of Americans are for the most part, because it's like our second language. But for the most part, um majority of the time, you know, there's a translator there who helps understand things like that. But Like I said, for the most part, if there's like clients or athletes or anything for that matter who's from a different country or something like that, I definitely try to, have them teach me their language so that, when the time does come, I'm prepared for it.
So obviously, the WNBAs, they're doing a great job not only with this season, but off the court with all the social injustice stuff, and even the NBA too. But I want to give a shout out to man Renee Montgomery from the Atlanta Dream, and
Yes.
she is amazing, and obviously recently retired, and I had her on the show last year, and I even had her head coach. So what's it like seeing her and Maya Moore actually started this whole thing, but shout out to Maya Moore too. But what's it like seeing these players from the WNBA and the NBA just making a statement to improve the outside world?
I think it's huge only because, like I said, we try to capture our athletes to be more than athletes, and athletes have voices. Athletes are people as well. They have feelings. They have, things that they're into, things that they stand for. And they deserve to be heard. So I feel like that was so encouraging and empowering, of Maya and Renee, because they started a movement, that transitioned from them, through a whole bunch of leagues. So just seeing how powerful an athlete's voice really is amazing.
So for your agency group, what are you most looking forward to this year? And are you guys currently working on some big things? And but what are you most looking forward to?
So we're mostly just looking forward to, growing, as a company, and definitely, um, trying to help shape the lives of a lot of these athletes, and help them become, like I said, more than athletes. And help them with their legacy, help them on and off the court, and just being able to help them and their families for the most part.
Are you allowed to share some of the clients that you work with, or no? That's unclosed information.
That's closed off for now.
So for you, oh, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. So for you, outside of doing your job right now, what else do you like to do on your downtime, just to this when you're not busy?
So I'm like always busy, but so I like to watch a lot of dance movies. I'm a big step up person, a big stump the yard person. You got served. I can do all the dance moves in all those movies, like step by step. But for the most part, so I'm either watching dance movies, watching sports movies, or I'm listening to music, or I'm dancing myself, or I might throw in a little rap or two. I
Nice.
got a few bars, not
Yeah,
too many.
you got bars. So you so speaking of music, obviously some people like during this time, music is really important for people. So for you, how important is just to um, take away the outside noise and just focus on one thing, especially your agency? Obviously, the job you do is tough sometimes. But what for you? What does music mean to you, especially on the downtime?
Music for me is everything. It's soothing. It's my happy place. It's where I get my hope from. It's where I get my energy from. Every morning is my worship time. Just me, my time, by myself with God alone. And that's where I get all my energy from, and where I get all my, um, my ideas and stuff like that. I'm in a deep conversation with God, and He's just revealing so much to me, at that time. And then throughout the day, I listen to my Christian rap music, and it's just hyping me up, and just hearing what they've been through and how they got through it, and where they are now is just so empowering to me to keep going.
So let me ask you this. I'm just curious. Obviously, you play basketball. So last year there was no fans, and this year no fans either in some stadiums. So if you were still playing, and if you were in your client's position, um, does the fans matter to you when you're playing, or it doesn't matter with fans and no fans when you're a player still?
I think it's a little bit of both. When there's no fans, it seems like practice. You know, so um, practice is just practice sometimes. But when you're playing against other people, And then it's like a scrimmage, but when there's actually fans in the stands, then it's a game. It's a real life game. And like a lot of people say, the fans change the atmosphere of the game. Can change a turnover to, a fast break 3-point shot or something like that. So I definitely think that, it's a huge thing on having the fans in the stands, but I know a lot of these athletes who've been playing this year have been doing, really well with their circumstances.
Hmm. So, what was your most toughest contract you've done as an agent, and most easiest contract you've done as an agent?
Oh man, all of mine have been overseas for the most part, so it hasn't been too many.
Oh wow! So, no WNBA contracts, huh? Yet?
No, not yet, not yet.
So for you, do you have any like Kobe memories or Gianna memories throughout your career? Obviously, last year was the 1 year anniversary of their death, and I always ask this question to all my guests. He's one of my role models growing up, and for you, especially Kobe's big in the WNBA and helping them out, and Gianna could have been the next WNBA star too. So, do you have any like memories about like memories or?
So for the most part, it's hard. When I found out about Kobe, it was it a Sunday? I feel like it was a Sunday. And I forgot what. I think it was a game. I can't remember what exactly I was doing, but I seen on Twitter and someone said like, no, not Kobe. And I'm like, Kobe? Like there's no way. So, I'm looking at stuff and I'm just searching on Twitter for like several minutes trying to figure out what's going on with Kobe. And they said, Kobe had passed away, and my heart just dropped, because that was one of the hardest times ever in the basketball industry or whatever. But me personally, I don't have any Kobe memories for the most part. Like if I knew him, closer, probably so, but just from all the games that he's played and the difference he's made and the W and stuff like that. So that's kind of what I have on Kobe.
Favorite memorable game that you played as a basketball player?
Oh man, that's so long ago. I think when I was in high school, we played. It was a doubleheader, and we played Lures. One of our biggest rivals in the city, and we played Lures, and it was a pretty good game for us for the most part. So I think that was one of the best ones.
So, what advice would you give young kids that are trying to be in the same business as you, and whoever wants to be an agent, a sports agent, or any kind of agent? What advice would you give them getting into this business?
I would say, for the most part, be authentic. Don't try to be, another agent. Be yourself. Be authentic. Take your time. Don't try to rush and just sign athletes just because you have your certification or whatever the case may be. Just take your time and try to educate yourself first.
Yeah, it's just I agree with you said, and by the way, I love your background. It's just sick.
Thank you.
But before we get to the last two things, me and my co-host Alyssa, we partnered up with the Hugh Jackson Foundation, and we're ambassadors for them. And I'll send you the page. He's a former NFL coach, but trying to get back into coaching. But we're trying to help them prevent human trafficking and making sure the community is safe and making sure the kids make the right choices. And we're grateful to be part of it. And like I said, I'll send you the page, and they're really inspiring. And hopefully we can come up with a situation to make this better with human trafficking. So
definitely, that's super dope.
yeah. And the last thing here for you before I let you go, would you like to say anything to all the nurses, doctors, and essential workers right now?
Yes, most definitely. Thank you for all your work, all your support. Yeah, and just, working and being there every day, for us people who, they say, aren't essential workers. You're still putting your life on the line, for us, making sure that we're staying alive, make sure our family is staying alive. So definitely appreciate you, and definitely I hope that you and your family are staying safe, and healthy during this time.
Mhm. Well said. And there it is. That wraps up episode 704 with the WNBA FIBA sports agent, Chaunitel Jones-Smith. And from Capture Sports Agency, go follow her on all social media formats. She's such an inspiration. She works hard every day. And man, just thank you again for coming on. This is truly an honor. I'll be posting this on all social media formats. And keep up the great work. I'll be following you throughout your career, and stay safe.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. You stay safe too.
Thank you.
All right.